Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with some more Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast action. We're going to be having ourselves a bit more of the classic on this channel, the staple. It's going to be just a regular Starcraft 2 match between two incredibly good players. So we've got ourselves a Protoss versus Zerg on the map Winter's Gate, and spawning up in the top left, a very high level Protoss, and I'd argue one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. It's Trap. And in the bottom right hand side of the map, it's Armani, a little bit lesser known of as Zerg. He hasn't had like super big results. He's a Korean Zerg, but he's a bit on the up and up lately. So that's why I'm excited to cast this match between these two and just see how it's going to play on out between them. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the past few days on this channel, I've pretty much just been doing Alpha Star videos because I know that that's like that's the big thing at the moment. But I really do enjoy casting these replays. So if you're new to the channel, if you're one of the new subscribers, and just sit back and enjoy the show, and maybe you'll learn to love these commentaries. But yeah. Anyway, so we're just going to see how this match is going to go between Trap and Armani. Good old Protoss versus Zerg. There's been some comments on that lately, with some people saying that Protoss can be a little bit weak in the matchup, or that Zerg can be a little bit strong. I mean, a lot of people can talk about that. I'm not really going to give too much of my own take on that. But yeah, should be fun to watch these two play it out regardless. Armani just going for a hatchery first. Looks like he's going to be going for a pretty quick third hatchery. Just sub 2 minutes, actually. So yeah, one of the quickest hatcheries that you can get, starting your third before you start up your queens or anything like that. And then Trap just going for a probe scout, just going to be like, all right, what's going on over here? What's the Zerg up to? Probably nothing good because it's a bug, an alien bug. And yeah, so Trap, we'll see how he's going to play this matchup out. I mean, I think he definitely is the favorite versus Armani. I do want to say the context of this match, though, is that Trap recently, I don't know if he's playing from California at the moment, but I was a little surprised to see him sign up for this week's Alima League, at which these three replays are from, as Trap is, yeah, he's in California, and this is a Korean tournament, or he was in California, and he just got home or whatever, and he was like, time for some Alima League, so I thought, all right, this should be an interesting match between the two of them. And then we see the Adept going to be crossing the map for Trap. And, yeah, so we'll just see pretty normal Protoss build here. Stargate on the way. We'll see what Trap's going to bring on out. I think one of the main things about PvZ is that Protoss seem to be running out of things to do versus Zerg early on. There's only so many sneaky builds that Protoss can come with. And Protoss are very, very, they're very, very innovative players when it comes to choosing like a build that's going to catch your Zerg opponent off guard, but after the meta's been stable for a while, the Zerg kind of tends to sniff out all those builds, and it's harder and harder to catch a Zerg player off guard. So yeah, we'll just see how this, what Trap's going to do, what sort of sneaky play he's going to make going for an Oracle. Meanwhile, this Overlord for Armani hiding in the corner of the map, like, oh, get out of here, there's a Phoenix out. And so they are running away. This Phoenix probably not going to find any Overlords, which is a bit of a bummer, as these Overlords with their speed have already ran away. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, just if you enjoy these commentaries, and whether it's Alpha Star or not that I'm commentating, make sure to press that like button. Let's try and break 20 likes on this video for some high-level Korean Starcraft 2, the best of the best. And let's take a look here. Phoenix is going to fly on in. Oracle gets shoot away, though. 3 queens in position for Armani. Great defense so far. And defending the first round of the Oracle attack is really the most important thing you can do as the Protoss. So a good initial defense there from Armani. And yeah, let's just see. Phoenix is going to be heading on home. Looks like Trap going to be warping in a few Adepts here. 4 Adepts, actually, a little bit more than a few. He's going to be going for this Resonating Glaives build. Now, this seems to be coming into the meta a little bit more than it has lately. Protoss are like, hey, let's make some Adepts and see if we can catch these Zerg players off guard. Trap, he's got these 4 Adepts going to be crossing the map. 2 more also going to be meeting on up with this. So a bit of early pressure coming from the Protoss. Now, the interesting thing is that the Resonating Glaives is not done yet. It's only halfway done at this point. So if Trap commits, he's not going to have that Glaives. He might just hold off and say warp in more and more Adepts. I think it is a good move from Trap, though, if we think about it, because take a look at this position right now. Armani's making Lings because he's worried about the Adepts now, but in a second, when the Adepts have Resonating Glaives, let me tell you, Lings are a lot worse. You really need Roaches versus it, so Armani's firing up a few Roaches, but he's already committed to a ton of Lings. And it really is going to be all about the Roaches and Queens to help defend this. The Lings, unless they get a very good surround, not the best versus Adepts. We do take a look, though. Trap isn't committing, like, super de-duper all into this, if that's English at all. We take a look. Yeah, these Adepts, they shade on in, but they're actually not getting that much done here. We take a look. Yeah, Trap is able to snipe off a few drones, 5 drones in total, but he lost all the Adepts since he just shaded on in, and he was pretty much already surrounded by the Lings. So 5 drones, 18 Lings for 8 Adepts. I mean, it's not terrible for the Protoss, but the fact that he committed to that upgrade, he probably wanted to get a little bit more done, and I think Trap might have just felt forced to go for an attack like that. Like, yeah, I committed to this, so I gotta go for it. So far, pretty good defense from Armani, and yeah, he's a pretty happy Zerg at this point. Of course, the Oracle is just looking at these Roaches, looking at these Lings. Gotta be careful not to lose that Oracle of your Trap. It's right-click on those Roaches. Oh no, Trap! Get it out! Get it away! It runs through the slow zone, but it does escape. Good reaction time from Trap, making sure that he doesn't lose that. He's also got the Phoenix shut down these this Overseer. Seeing the prevalence of Nidus, it's probably a good idea to always have that Phoenix around here somewhere, because Nidus Swarmhost, very, very common. That being said, though, Armani... Oh, okay, okay, speak of the devil, maybe he is going to be going for that. As I say that, I was like, oh, he's not going for Swarmhost. Well, he is. He just fired up 5 of them, so... We're going to see how well Trap is going to play this, but he is going to be getting hit with that Nidus Swarmhost play. Now, Trap, I mean, he played versus Zerg at the WCS Global Finals, so you think he's going to have a pretty good understanding of the matchup, so we'll see how well he's going to be able to deal with this. It always seems to be hit or miss, though, dealing with Nidus Swarmhost, as the Swarmhost can... All it really takes is one good pop-up from the Zerg, and they're in a very good spot, usually. We take a look. Trap, the way that he's going to try and deal with this is firing up a ton of shield batteries at his third base to make sure that he can cover that from Locust. And then he's just being out on the map everywhere in order to try and shut down any Niduses that are getting called on in. There's one Nidus. Trap probably going to want to try and do something about that. The Oracle can target that down. The Roaches and Lings coming on in, they can pick off the Zealot, but they aren't going to be able to pick off the Oracle. So a nice move from the Oracle with shutting that down. Lings try and get on in, but great force fields from Trap shutting that down. Another Nidus has been called on in, though. Trap isn't in position to shut this down. He knows it's there, but he is not in a spot to shut down these Swarmhosts that are probably going to pop out instantaneously. Archon comes on towards this Nidus. The Swarmhosts pop out, but all they got to do is drop their wave, and then all of a sudden it's just pop back into that Nidus. The Trap has to retreat, dropping down force fields to try and cover his retreat, but the Locust can fly, so they're actually able to get out. One of the Archons perishes. The force fields are holding off the majority of the army now, though. So Trap is staying alive, but we see an Overseer fly on in. Could be potentially calling in another Nidus. That would be problematic for Trap, and there we go. A Nidus being called right on into the main base of Trap, and I don't think Trap knows about this. And when there's a Nidus in your main base as the Protoss, you are going to have yourself a bad time. And yeah, this is just going to be very, very bad here for Trap. If a wave of Locust gets off in his main base, he's going to hear that Nidus. He's going to see it with the Phoenix now and be like, oh no. I think Trap may have to recall, but recalling into a wave of Locust is not a great thing for the Protoss. There we go. The Locust wave is going to go down at the natural base. Meanwhile, there's Roaches and Raptors on the high ground. These Locusts going to get some good damage done. Trap is in a bit of a tough spot right now. The Nidus is dealing a ton of damage. Probes have been pulled versus these Roaches. I don't know if that's a mistake or what. Yeah, I think they might have just been sent to deal with the Nidus, but Trap has taken a lot of damage here right now. Armani just going to be flooding Roaches out. And yeah, this looks a little bit tough here for Trap in this game. The Oracle doing what it can, but it's going to run out of energy. Armani has just popped the Queens through. He's doubled Nidus. The one in the main base finally gets cleaned on up, but this is looking very, very tough here for Trap. And yeah, we take a look. This is just not good at all here for the Protoss. His army is not... nothing about this situation is favorable for Trap. He's got a lot of shield batteries, which can heal his units up, but this is versus a maxed out Zerg. He's just calling in Nidus after Nidus since they're very, very cheap. And yeah, Trap is just donezo here. That's gonna be it. Trap, he's losing all of his units. He's got some of the best workers of micro in the business, but all of his units are gonna go down. And GG, Armani is actually gonna take game 1 versus Trap, which I think some people would consider an upset. As a matter of fact, I think most StarCraft 2 fans would consider that an upset. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we load on into this next game between Trap and Armani, make sure to press that like button. As I said, let's try and break 20 likes on this video. If you're new to the channel from all the Alpha Star videos that everyone's been watching lately, I say welcome to you. And of course, if you're new to the channel and aren't subscribed, make sure to press that subscribe button, as it's completely free and it lets you know whenever I'm going to be putting up a new video. Alright, so here we are, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map. It's Armani. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Trap. Trap, one of my favorite Protoss players. I think, I mean, he put a, like, it's tough to say. He's a very, very good Protoss. His PvP seems to be pretty good. His PvZ, it's good. But it's tough to know what to do in the matchup, I think, as Protoss at this point. And if you happen... But Trap's PvT, on the other hand, is immaculate. He plays the matchup exactly how it's supposed to be played. Oh, look at this. Trap. Oh, he's going to go for a bit of a cannon rush. All right. Protoss players lately have been like, all right, Zerg seems to be pretty good in the mid game. Zerg seems to be pretty good in the late game. So we're just going to cannon rush the bejeebus out of him. Trap is moving on in with his probe. He's like, hey, what's up? What's going on, Mr. Zerg? I'm just gonna send my probe around here. Armani all of a sudden is gonna have to deal with a cannon rush. That's one pylon getting fired up, and right now Armani's like, oh no. Oh no. You know that goofy meme that's just like, oh no. This is what's happening to Armani right now. It's like, well, my drones can't get in there. Trap's probably going to pop down a cannon or two in a second when he can afford it. As soon as that pylon is done, we should be seeing maybe like a double cannon situation. I'm not sure if Trap is going to cancel one of the pylons. There we go. He cancels the pylon, but then he plops down a gateway, or yeah, that was a gateway behind it. So Trap actually going to have a gateway here. Now, this pylon is actually a little bit exposed, so there's a chance that Armani could pick this off. I mean, Trap, yeah, I think if he I think he needs to throw up another pylon here, just due to the nature of the positioning of this pylon. He fired up another cannon, but keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this cannon literally has this one pylon, which is going to be exposed on the high ground here, so I don't know if Trap's going to be able to actually make this attack work. Of course, the cannons can cover the pylon from lings and drones, but I mean, once there's a queen or two on the high ground, Armani should be able to shut this down. Now, the question is Armani going to be able to save this hatchery? It's going to be tough. I think if he dives on top of these cannons or the pylon with all of his lings, maybe he can buy enough time, but he is just going to throw up a third base here, all the while Trap is getting up his own expansion. So, if Trap can get this Nexus, but yeah, we take a look at this pylon, the vulnerable spot, the Achilles heel of this cannon rush, and the cannon suddenly unpowered. Trap, with the placement of that cannon, it just didn't work out. I think he maybe should have, say, let this one finish, and then cancel this pylon instead. Of course, it's tough to make that call, but yeah, the cannon rush of Trap really falls flat on his face there, and all of a sudden, you try and cannon rush the Zerg, you're like, what did okay, that didn't work out. Just give me a minute. I'll throw up a Stargate, says Trap. So he's in a bit of a tough spot right now. The Protoss player, he tried to go for a cannon rush and it failed. And like any rush or attack in the StarCraft 2, if you don't get enough damage done, it's not going to play out. And really all that Trap managed to get done here was force some lings and deal a bit of damage to this hatchery. But I mean, unless you kill the hatchery, even if it has 1 HP, it's you really didn't get enough damage done. These two adepts shading on in, but they know that there's a ton of lings out, so they're just going to head on home. That's a mature decision from Trap. Lesser Protoss would actually just commit on in with those adepts and just like, sure, whatever, just give it, basically. Trap, though, he's going to head on home with these two adepts. He's firing up an Oracle. He's getting a Stalker behind this, but I'm not sure how he should play this game. I think he just should go for a pretty quick third base, I want to say. Like, I feel if you go for... I think if you go for, like, just say, like, timing attack off the back of this, it's not going to happen if you're the Protoss. So I think you really, really have to go for something like just a quick third base. Your only choice is to go into that and play it from there. So I think we should probably see Trap maybe warp in another Adept or two whenever he can. He's just got the one gateway up. But I think he needs to keep warping in Adepts here, secure up a third base, and then play it from there. He's throwing up 2 more gateways. But you gotta have something going your way in this game if you're Trap. Otherwise you're just donezo. So we'll see what Trap's gonna be able to get done. The thing is, Oracles aren't gonna cut it. I think if he throws up like a Twilight Council and goes for like a big charge lot all in, that's not gonna cut it. And oh my gosh, look at the lings for Armani out on the map. They're just dotting everywhere. He had vision just everywhere. This Zerg wants to know exactly what's coming his way. A very, very good thing for Zergs to do is stay on top of vision, because Zergs lose most of the time whenever they're blindsided. We are going to be seeing Trap secure up a third base here pretty soon, it would seem. He throws up the 1 pylon, but he is going to need an Oracle back at home, I think, to defend this, because Armani has made quite a few lings. And right now there's literally just a Stalker, a couple of Adepts, and a Sentry out. The Oracles for Trap have found their way into the main base, though. They're going to get a little bit of damage done. They're now going to exit through the south. A very smart move from Trap. He's like, yeah, the Queens were going to be going north, so I'm just going to go there. He's even going to nab himself up 2 more drones. Nice play from Trap. Gets 5 drones in all. Now, I am a little bit concerned about his third base here, though. He's got the 2 Adepts tucked into the pylon. This is a few lings, though. They may be able to put pressure on this. With another Sentry warped on in, with the 2 Adepts tucked on in and the Stalker, I think he can be fine, but it's a little bit dicey, that's for sure. Now we take a look here. Trap, he's got these 2 Oracles still out on the map, and Trap, like I said before, his Warp Prism control is very good, but so is his Oracle control. You don't get to be a GSL Code S Protoss and not have very good micro on your units. Now, as I say that, I definitely jinxed him there, as Trap loses one of his Oracles. The Zerg player getting up a 6-minute 4th base here. Pretty comfortable, and we take a look. Armani is going to be throwing up that infestation pit, so we'll probably see that Swarmhost Nidus style again. Zerg's like, at first, Zerg's like, yeah, Swarmhost Nidus, it seems pretty good. And then there was just like all the Zergs just agreed at once, like, yes, this is the best strategy that you can go for. So all of a sudden, we're seeing a lot of Zergs go for this strategy. Now, Trap's going for a bit of harassment here with his 2 Adepts. The Prism is going to come on in to try and save them. It saves one of them, but just one of the Adepts gets on out of there. Meanwhile, Trap throwing up a Templar Archives, but man, this could be very rough for the Protoss player, as Trap, he's just getting up his third base. He's really saturating that, and the Zerg player's already firing up 9 Swarmhost here. Swarmhost, for those of you unaware, are very, very cheap units. Just in the sense their actual cost, like, they're pretty darn cheap. I'm trying to pull it up here, but I know it's not a ton, particularly since the units they create are free. So we take a look. A lot of gateways going on up here. Phoenix working away on this Overseer. Nidus Network on the way, and I mean, Armani, he's playing the style the way that it's meant to be played as the Zerg. You basically pop in, pop out, call in a Nidus, and then, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good spot here for Armani, I'd have to say. Now, Trap is moving out on the map. He's going with 2 Immortals and a Prism. Maybe looking for a potential Nidus Worm here. He hasn't found it. He's trying to spot everywhere that he can. He's sending out 1 Adept to the front of his base. He's going to see, okay, there's that Nidus Worm. Now, he's not going to be able to stop it in time, I don't think. Or maybe he'll be able to. It's going to be close. Trap, he's going to be able to get on top of this Nidus, and it looks like he will shut it down. Tosses down a few force fields to cover himself, but the Zerg player is actually just going to try and crash through the front here. Trap could be in a bit of trouble right now because the Nidus called in at the back there is also going to reinforce this, and all of a sudden, Trap is not just going to have to deal with Locusts, not just have to deal with Roaches and Ravagers, but also the Queens coming along with this, and this is just going to be a nasty big attack here from the Zerg, crashing at the front gate of Trap. Trap is retreating to his third base with some of his units, trying to cover that. Force field's going down, using the energy to hold the Locust at bay, but then we take a look. Locust in the natural base of the Protoss. That Forge getting unpowered there. It's potentially going to go down. Good force fields from Trap, though, actually locking in the Roach Ravager. Going to get a lot of nice pickoffs there. Meanwhile, Trap going to try and repower that Forge, get his +2 back on the way. So Trap actually, with great force fields, holds off that attack. The Immortal going to start working away on that Nidus Worm. before another wave of Locust gets off, but there is indeed another Nidus Swarm. There's always another Nidus Swarm if the Zerg is playing correctly. Nidus there. This Nidus just got picked off, but there's one already here. The Locust wave is going to go out. The shield batteries can try and heal versus these units. A Guardian shield goes up. The shield batteries are going to have to do a lot of work healing these units up. The Locust actually are just going to right-click on the Nexus. Now, I don't know if that's the right choice from Armani, but with the Roaches also joining in on the fight, I think it is. This shield battery has energy. It could potentially heal up that Nexus, but the Locust wave does expire anyway. Armani, though, multi-pronged Locust attacks now hitting at the natural. Fortunately, Trap invested in a cannon, invested in a shield battery. He's just trying to hold off the Zerg, who is just bouncing around every position. The Forge of Trap that was in the wall is going to go down, so say goodbye to +2 attack if you're the Protoss. A couple of Zealots warping on into the main base here. Armani trying to harass every single position that he can to pull that Protoss apart. Trap is going to knock down this one Nidus Swarm, but as we said before, there's always another. Armani calling in another. He's got Creep, which makes the vision for this very easy. Trap is using that shield battery to heal up that Nexus, but it's not going to be here to heal his units. We're going to need to see some good Psy Storms go down, and so far they are pretty good Psy Storms for Trap. The Zerg army really bogged up. A lot of Psy Storm being used on the Locust there. The question is there any more? But I don't think there is, so that's all the Psy Storm. So Trap suddenly has these useless High Templar, which are not going to help him out in this fight. His Archons at the front are very, very injured, so they can't really buffer more, so Zealots have to be warped on in. Trap's just trying to build up an army supply. Meanwhile, he is investing in going into a counterattack, which is something that the Protoss really wants to do, but it can be tricky to make happen. Although the fact that Trap has found time to get these Zealots across the map towards the 4th base of the Zerg could really take the pressure off him. But then we take a look here. The Immortals overextended a little bit. One of them gets picked off. The Zealot counterattack, though, heading towards the 4th of Armani, starting to put the pressure onto his opponent. And all of a sudden, this is buying Trap a little bit of a respite as Armani is dealing with this. But no, he is going to continuously keep calling in these waves of Locusts. Some of the Locusts getting bruised on up by more and more Psy Storm. As Trap is starting to build himself up a pretty good army supply. As this game has been going on, Trap has actually found the time to invest in a Mothership. And the Mothership, a pretty powerful Protoss unit, which can really help solidify your army. The Cloak, really useful when dealing with waves of Locust and units that are that only attack on the ground or are just kind of like harassment, as there's usually not an overs here with those. We're starting to see Armani, though. He's trying to reach into the next stage of the game. He says, right, the Swarmhost Nidus didn't kill you. I'm going to start going towards Broodlords, and he's actually pretty darn close to that. He's just got to get these Corruptors out. Then he can start morphing some of those. We take a look and see a 4th base started up for Trap here. He's going to try and secure that, but it's going to be tough for him, as he's still going to have to try and deal with these Nidus Swarms. He sees this Nidus just barely, but he's actually not dealing with that. He's busy dealing with this attack towards his 4th base. His 4th gets canceled here. Trap is really locked in on 3 bases right now, as the Zerg is taking more counter harassment. So Trap says, yes, I'm locked in on just a few bases here, but he's keeping the pressure onto his opponent, essentially limiting his opponent's own bases. This one Nidus Swarm, probably want to take care of that. Oracle gonna get to work on that. I don't know if it's got enough energy, though. I don't think it does. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that Nidus Swarm is gonna survive. Trap, though, says, all right, enough is enough. I'm gonna put the pressure onto my opponent. I'm done being the defender. He's gonna go on the offensive versus his opponent, but all of a sudden there's gonna be a wave of Locusts probably getting called on into his natural, and the Zerg has actually managed to tech on up to those Broodlords, and without a significant amount of anti-air, this could be tough for Trap. He's just been able to re-get up his +2 in just 10 seconds here, so he is going to have that nice upgrade going for him. He's got the Warp Prism, he's got the Mothership, so he can reinforce his army, and his army is pretty good here, but of course, the Zerg player on point with his counterattack picks off the Protoss' 3rd base, and suddenly Trap needs to get a lot of damage done versus his opponent. He's getting bogged up by these Broodlings right now. Okay, let's take a look. Archon's trying to get under the Broodlords, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Trap microing as well as he can. He does have Blink on his Stalkers. He's going to get underneath the Broodlords. Trap is pushing through. The Psystorm going down for the Protoss player, trying to push in, but Psystorm, it's a lot better defensively than pushing in, so Trap going to cover his retreat here. Does he have any more Psystorm? There we go. Great size storms hitting a lot of the roaches, taking a ton of the HP out of this army. More stalkers warping on in. The Archons are going to have to buffer the stalkers. Ideally want to get under the broodlords, but there's a lot of roaches and ravagers covering them, and Trap, his economy is just not there. He's really all in versus this Zerg right now, and with a wave of locusts going down, I think Trap's going to have to retreat once more. He's morphing an Archon there. He drops the time warp, but the Zerg player has held on, and the Zerg player behind this has got plenty of bases. He's got this base to the north that he's rebuilding. He's already got this base in the left, and with Trap's attack failing here, I don't know if he's going to be able to stay in this game. He's got the Blink Stalkers. Oh, dodges the Corrosive Bile, gets underneath the Broodlords, but there's so many Broodlords here. The Stalkers focus down a fair few of them, while the Immortals on the ground doing the best work that they can. Trap has actually focused down all the Overseers, so Armani has to morph in one or two more of those. But yeah, we take a look here, and Trap, he's getting on in. He's going to start focusing down this Nidus Swarm, but there's another Nidus Swarm, so the Swarm Host actually escaped. A lot of the Locusts land on the ground, but a few heading towards the natural, and Trap is just re-securing up his third base, which if you're the Protoss, that is not a good spot at all. And he is just trying to clean up this Nidus Swarm, but you got to get something done here if you're Trap. A nice Immortal Warp Prism counterattack for the Protoss. He knows that he can't really engage the Zerg's army head on at this point, so he's just going to try and harass. It's really what the Protoss player has to do right now. This Oracle, I mean, is also lurking around the mothership. Has been a great tool for Trap, giving that invisibility, giving that army presence. But I mean, still the Zerg player doubling the supply of Trap here. The army supply 148 to 61 means that Trap really can't take a head-on fight, and he's just got to keep the pressure on his opponent. Look at this. The Zerg about to lose one Nidus Swarm, calls on in another. Trap does see this one, so he will shut that down. So nicely done there. But did that Warp Prism go down? Did the Prism go down? No, I think Trap recalled it. Very well done by Trap, realizing that and keeping it alive. But with the Prism now on the other side of the map, now on the defensive, Trap is on the defensive, and that means he's going to have to handle this big army somehow. Psystorm, a very great equalizing tool for the Protoss, but when there's this much Zerg, I don't know if all the Psystorm in the world is going to help him here. Trap, he's got to do something here to stay alive, but he's still on 3 bases at 16 minutes in the game. His income is very low as a result. He's going to need some great Psystorms here versus the Zerg. If he can get underneath the Broodlords when, say, the Roaches and Ravagers are out of position, it'll be good for him. But with this other Nidus about to pop on out, we take a look. There's the wave of Locust that's going to be able to join up with the army, and all of a sudden that is just an impossible to stop Zerg force for Trap. He really can just retreat, but his ground army is not that much here. This army is just being chased non-stop. Trap is dropping as many Psystorms as he can here, but with a wave of Locust heading towards his third base that he just rebuilt, I don't know what Trap can do. I think he's going to have to take a fight or something, but he can't save his third base. That's going to go down. He's got units trapped at the third, but that's not going to be enough. More Corruptors show up, so the Void Rays that he was trying to build are just going to die here. Trap is trying to engage on in, but his final defense a little bit disjointed right now. Trap drops the Time Warp. High Templar are going to be dropping down that Psystorm. Armani seems to be able to close this one out. He's taken a lot of counter-harassment damage, but with keeping this base alive, with keeping a higher drone count. Although, I mean, take a look. Trap dropping some good Psystorms at the end there, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The one Void Ray in the mothership could potentially control the skies here, but Trap is still down on just 2 bases right now. A wave of Locust is going to be popping on out, and with that, Trap is going to GG as Armani able to 2-0 Trap just like that. Well done. I mean, Trap tried to put up a fight, but Armani just played the way that you need to play. In a sense, he played pretty well with a hitting all over the place. Is that hatchery off position? I'm pretty sure that hatchery is off position. Like, don't quote me on that, but I think that hatchery could be 1 hex to the left. All right, yeah. Anyway, just getting distracted by that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this commentary, press that like button if you made it to the very end to this point. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you made it to the end of this video, you probably enjoyed it. So press that subscribe button. And of course, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.